Today is all about vegetable gardening. Garth and I are now making a small tabletop veggie planter for any size garden. And the first thing that we need is a piece of polystyrene. Polystyrene, it's got a nice thickness, about 50 mils. That's important because that's where your strength is going to come from, the thickness. So our table, we've decided, is going to be 990. That's going to be the length, and the depth is going to be 600. So here we go. First one, Garth, let's do the first measurement across here.
All right. What we should do, Tanya, is just to get a straight line, we'll give them 100 from each edge.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So we're not going crooked.
Yeah, like that.
Lovely. Pop it on there, and then I can just mark this. Right, and that's going to be our 990. Okay. Bottom line is, folks, here is our piece of polystyrene. From there to there is 990, and from here to here is 600. All we need to do now is take our faithful jigsaw and cut this out along the lines. Now, pop this oak. And now, the centerpiece that we've got is not going to go to waste, because what we're needing is, remember, that inlay, which is going to become our planter. So what we need to do to create a cavity is just cut a strip off this, which is going to get sunk into our mold. We've measured it's 200 across. And this is going to go in the center. Don't worry about the exact positioning now. That we'll get right a little bit later. But first up, we need our cornicing now, which we're going to work out to go on the inside measurements of this. And that's important, the inside measurements. Let's get that, Garth. All right, what we've got here is polystyrene cornicing, which you can get from your local hardware store. What we're going to do now is cut a 45. We've measured the inside, is that right?
That's correct.
It's the inside and the inside measurements of our polystyrene. So much easier. Good. Okay, so there we go. Perfect 45 on that edge, and we've got other 45s, and obviously when you join them together, you get a
90.
Good job. All right. So he's going to go here, okay? And remembering, when you're putting these guys in, just make sure that your mold all follows the same. So that's going to go there, and then that baby in there. Good job.
It does.
Okay, and then all we make sure is that it lines up here on the inside, because the inside is going to determine the precision of our mold. Now, to make sure that this guy stays where we want it to, we're just going to get a few screws and literally attach one side to the other. All right, folks, so what we said was that we needed something to go on the outer edge of this. What we've done is we've already cut up the planks. What needs to happen is this guy will fit exactly there. I'll show you exactly how it's going to work. That guy will go there, and then these two, one on the edge and one on the other edge. What we're going to do now is just get two screws, pop it in this side, so that we've got a full block that we can then work with. Right, here we have box all the way around our piece of polystyrene. That is going to sit in the middle. Now what we need to do is to take some more of our cornicing and create another box that is going to go around that, making sure that we've got the mold the same direction as what we did here. So in this case, we've got these little squares. They're going to be facing down the same as those little squares. Put it together, and to keep it in place, Garth, you've got your screws there. Make sure they're nice and snug, and then bang them together. So to make things simpler, all we've got is some bit of pine. We're going to pop that on either side. It's basically just going to give us a bit of support. So there we go. Let's take that out. That goes over there. So he's ready. Inner, outer, inner, outer. Okay, all the hard work is done. Now all we've got to do is go and get our concrete mixture ready. The mixture that we're needing to prepare for our tabletop is going to be as follows. So we've got half a bucket of cement, we've got half a bucket of fine river sand, and we've got a quarter bucket of small 13mm building stone. Okay. For this table, we're really wanting quite a smooth finish on top, which is why we're using less stone. And the consistency as well is quite runny. That's what we want. All right, guys, take this out. Centerpiece. Beautiful. Okay. What we do now is we just spread this out to form our bottom layer. That's important. Should do that. Now we take this little guy, pop him in here. Bob's your uncle. Put the rest of the concrete in. Just work it in nicely there. And at the end, take a mallet, bang it a few times, can't go wrong. Folks, the most important thing you need to worry about with this guy, which is the cavity forming piece of polystyrene, is that it must be level with the outer edge of your cornice. The easiest way, the simplest way to keep it in place, pop a brick on it, bang, there it is, bang, in place, not going to move, and we can just carry on. Right, this guy's nearly good to go. All you've got to do, smooth off the edges, get a nice finish, as smooth as you can, and then you're going to leave it to dry for at least 3 days. Once we filled that one, let's just start filling this guy over here. Remember, we're filling in the gaps here. Right, a few taps with the rubber mallet to make sure we've got all the air pockets out. And we should be good to go. All we do now, leave it for about 3 days until it starts going grey. Right, folks, this is one that we made 3 days earlier. It's dried enough. You can see the colour has changed. Now all we've got to do is take off all the moulding and boxing, and let's take a look at our tabletop. Right, give it a shake on that end, gently. And if you really want to, you can just hook it on the edges here. Pry it off. Ooh, you beauty. Look at that. Look, look, look. Ba-dam. What a beauty. Garth, this is quite a work of art.
I think we started a new craze here.
Okay, let's get this middle bit out. And this might be a bit more challenging. But work off the edges. Just get a kind of area where you can get the trowel in. Take a bit out. And then once you've got that, then the rest should be okay. Let's take these screws out on the edges. This we're going to be putting on top of the table because this is going to form our planter. But before we do that, we need to do the following. We need to just turn them over. We're going to put a bit of slurry along here. The slurry is just going to make sure that when we put it on top, it's going to stick there like glue. Remember, the mixture that we've used here, which we call a slurry, is basically just dry cement powder with a wee bit of water. And alrighty, here we go. So let's take that in there. That's the one. Turn the baby over, and on he goes. And here is our planter on top of the tabletop. All right, what I've got here is just a bit of granular paint from our local hardware store, and this is just going to finish it off really nicely. Nice scarf.
Very nice, Tanya.
How's the front looking?
Very cool.
Beautiful.
Lovely.
Now, all we've got to do is leave our cement textured paint to dry. That needs about 4 to 5 hours.